Hey guys, today I just wanted to go over the strat that Big ran against Cloud9 at the ELEAGUE Invitational. Now, Big did actually end up losing this match 16-14. They only won 2 T-side rounds, but that just happened to be one of them. You're going to see that I'm going to focus a lot about that smoke that Tizian threw at the front of site there, because it allows the rest of Big to posture up for their execute molly quad safely, as well as only have to focus on the left side of site of default, because the entire right side is mollied as well as fork, and it allows for God B and Zenteris to clear site as well as Zenteris jump up onto top red to clear site. So let's get started here. So at the start of the round, you'll see Tim throw this B main smoke, which is a bit of a trick to basically let you peek in deep into B main as an opper, but Smooya does spot him out on the jiggle peaks, and Tim tries to aggro into B main, but ends up getting flashed up by God B after Smooya calls it out. Now it's pretty important because if Tim had actually pushed through into B main, he would have had a lot of information and would have allowed his team to stack towards mid or A. But with that flash and Smooya jump peeking from T-spawn for the next 25 seconds or so, Tim can actually push, and so it ends up that Cloud9 are forced to play with 2 people on B for the rest of the round. Meanwhile, Tizian's fighting for door control. Now he's already picked both Flusha and Rush on multiple occasions, so he's been putting consistent pressure at door this entire time, and in a second you're going to see him throw this front fence smoke, which allows for his team to basically set up for their own smokes outside of A main, as well as creep up closer to A main and molly quad and fence safely without getting peeked. As the smokes come over site, Tizian's going to molly at fork, which allows for his team to just focus on the right side of site, and since he gets mollied off of door here, he posts up on Cat and ends up picking Zelsis. Basically does his job for the round, and you'll see him post up on flank after throwing a flash over site for his teammates. And his job for the round's basically done here. So after jump spotting B, Smooya comes over to the spot near boost to throw his smoke for front site box. You can pause the video to see the lineup if you'd like. But after throwing a smoke, Smooya is going to run into A main and throw a second molly at quad. And I want to quickly point out how no one from Big actually commits onto site until after Rush dies and after the mollies are starting to fade, because then they know the entire right side of the site is clear, and with that it allows for Smooya to take fork after Tizian's molly fades, and he ends up finding the pick onto Flusha as the smokes are also fading. Next up we'll have God B, who after flashing B main for Smooya and holding the mid push for most of the round, comes here outside of A and lines himself up in this little corner here. And after holding boost, he's actually going to molly it as they get ready for the execute to prevent any fast flank from someone who's boosted up on the reverse side. And then he's going to line himself up for the top red smoke, which is probably the most interesting part of the strat, one that you don't see very often, and one that'll allow Zenteris to actually jump up onto top red to peek site. Gobby is also going to throw a second flash onto site, blinding Rush, who ends up dying in the molly. And right after the mollies are fading, he goes and plants the bomb after peeking site with Zenteris, also ending his job for the round. Now Tabson was one of the 2 players alongside Zenteris taking A main control, and he's going to throw the default cross smoke and throw the first molly onto quad. With that, he just posts up on the angle, and after Rush burns, he also just ends up posting up on their flank because Zenteris and Gabi have taken the site together. Now Zenteris starts the round by missing this highway smoke. Not really a big deal since it doesn't contribute towards the strat at all, but then he helps Tabson post up and hold A main until they get ready to go out for the execute. Now when the timing for the execute comes in, Zenteris throws that first flash, as well as mollies fence after he sees Rush cross over. With that, Rush is sort of stuck between 4 different mollies, including his own, and then Zenteris jumps up on top red, clears out the front of site, which is probably the most important part of the strat. You can see here that he can also peek off towards highway as well as E-box. I'll show you in a second that Automatic and Flusha both don't actually have any view of him at all. But with that, I'll just throw the Cloud9 perspectives in here so that you guys see how it looks like when the strat comes in, as well as just how quickly Zelsis dies in a second. But that's just about it for me. Let me know what you thought in the comments, or tweet me at note. And thanks for watching, guys.